And there is truly no greater stage than the one we have set here at Cary, North Carolina. It's the Big Ten champions, Northwestern, and the ACC champions, Boston College. The sport's all-time leading scorer adds another to her tally. Boston College facing their largest deficit of the season. 4 straight goals for the senior, and it's the Kayla Martello show. Goes to goal, the rebound, Boston College leads, passes it off, Dylan Amante. Boston College wins. Battled back and comeback complete. Boston College, national champions for the second time in program history. Every team starts the season with the dream of ending the year like BC did a year ago as national champions with that trophy in their hands. Well, for 29 teams, that dream will stay alive as we reveal the NCAA tournament bracket. The watch parties all across the country roaring, ready to go, and so are we as we begin our march to Gillette Stadium and championship weekend, where this year we get the men's and the women's national champions crowned in the same location, Charlotte North. Sheehan, Stanwick, Birch, Jay Alter with you. The men's bracket will be revealed a half hour from now. Right now, you're with us, 29 teams on the women's side. What do you have your eye on?
Well, it's crazy that we're finally here, Selection Sunday. We started the season back in February talking about each team's wins and losses and what it would mean till May, and now we're finally at the day. And we've been all season long talking about the top 3 teams, North Carolina, Boston College, Northwestern, and knowing that they were very strong in the top tier, but we don't know who the number 4 seed is going to be, who the matchups are going to be, so it's going to be a very exciting evening.
And I think, as we see in many sports, there's Power 5 conferences dominating. And I expect in today's bracket to have a heavy domination by the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Ivy League.
Well, Sheehan said it best. I think there's not a lot of drama with the top 3 teams in the field of 29. And those top 3 teams earn that crucial first-round bye. The top 8 teams are seeded. 29 teams in total, 15 automatic qualifiers, which goes to the conference champion, and then 14 at-large selections. So let's start at number 1. And it's the top-seeded Tar Heels, North Carolina. No surprise here, Charlotte. The number 1 team in the nation, the lone undefeated team entering the field.
Absolutely no surprise here. They have been dominant all season long. Love the reaction there. The ACC champions, led by the Humphrey sisters, Chloe and Ashley Humphrey on offense. And they've got the number 1 scoring defense in the nation as well, led by Sam Forrest. You see that Humphrey sister tandem in action right here. But I think what separates this team is their midfield depth. You saw it on display in the ACC tournament, and that's led by the ACC Rookie of the Year, Eliza Osborne.
So North Carolina gets that bye straight to the second round. The first round that'll play in Chapel Hill. How about Navy, the Patriot League champs?
A huge overtime win against their foe, Loyola, and the games between those two teams have been super close. Navy gets the edge here. It's their first time in the NCAAs since 2019. They did not hear their name called last year, so you know that they've been itching to get back in this tournament. They've done a great job. Alyssa Daly on the draw controls. Alyssa Chung, the freshman, has been phenomenal. And Michaela Williams had the awesome game-winning goal, so I love to see them cheer hearing their names.
That is awesome, what it's all about. Conference champions in a really competitive Patriot League this year. And Navy will take on in that first-round matchup out of the ACC, the Clemson Tigers. Clemson making it to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history in just the 3rd season they've been playing lacrosse.
Wow, what a moment for this program. This is a group of individuals who is playing inspired lacrosse. You look back at their quarterfinal win in the ACC tournament over Duke, and they had their backs against the wall, and they delivered.
They've done a phenomenal job. I think defensively, also anchored by Paris Mazarakia. Great job. And as you said, that win over Duke was crucial.
As we continue to fill out North Carolina's region, Princeton, who had a very strong regular season and no number next to their name. So the Tigers enter the tournament unseeded.
Maybe a little bit surprising to see that, given that they had the number 4 RPI in the nation. They had a phenomenal regular season campaign. Only 2 losses in that regular season. Offensively, they have one of the most potent scoring trios in the nation. Mackenzie Blake, Haven Dora, and Jamie McDonald. Mackenzie Blake was the Ivy League Attacker of the Year. They complement each other so well. They're second, third, and fourth in the Ivy League in points per game. But Blake, the pure goal scorer, has paced the Tigers this whole season.
And Princeton will play in that opening round matchup. The A10 champs for the final time. UMass leaving for the MAC next season, but they take down the A10 for the 12th time in program history.
And this will make UMass's 14th time in the NCAA. And they beat a very good Richmond team and then took down St. Joseph's in the A10 finals. Deanna McGowan leads the way, 32 goals and 56 assists.
And that watch party is live from an airport, Dulles in Washington, D.C. That's dedication, with the conference A10 trophy hanging out in the airport as well. Okay, so as we complete North Carolina's region here in the 2025 Women's Lacrosse Championship reveal, Liberty, much like Clemson, a first-time participant in the NCAA tournament.
What a moment for this program. Their first time ever winning the A-Sun, punching their ticket with the automatic qualifier. Katie Colavito, the A-Sun Midfielder of the Year, was the MVP of the A-Sun tournament. Tava Reinerston set a single-season record for goals for this program. A scrappy team for sure.
Those watch parties are extra special when it's your first time, like Clemson and Liberty. 8-seeded Johns Hopkins out of the Big Ten. The Blue Jays take that final seed. That 8 seed, so coveted.
It's so coveted. You get the host. It's huge. You can see the excitement there from the Blue Jays. Hopkins with the third hardest schedule in the nation. And they are led by Regan O'Brien defensively. Leads the nation in caused turnovers. So fun to watch. Dominant force. And Ava Angelo has been phenomenal on the offensive end. They've been without Ashley Mackin, one of their star players the last few games.
So 7 teams have been revealed. We still got a long way to go. 22 teams still waiting to hear their name. What are your thoughts in North Carolina's region?
You know, overall, I think when you look at it, it's when you see Stanford, and some people might be concerned about where they're placed there. And I think it comes down to the Denver and Army losses.
And I think you see Princeton, and you look at their RPI, you look at the body of work that they put together the whole season. For Princeton, I think it came down to today's result, which was the Ivy League championship game. Yeah,
lost that game to Yale, who we're still waiting to see. Let's move on to the 4 seed and the 5 seed region. And this was up for debate. Who is going to get the 4 and the 5 seed? And the 5 seed out of the ACC is Virginia. The Cavaliers, 6 losses, but they've got a lot of strong wins, which bolstered their resume.
Virginia has had an unbelievable season. Sonia LaMonica, in just her second year at the helm, they have one of the strongest resumes complete. And they're led by the ACC Midfielder of the Year in Kate Gallica. She takes draws. She set a single season and program record at the draw control dot, and she does it on offense as well, oftentimes garnering defense's top matchup. And she has supporting cast of Jenna DiNardo, Madison Alimo. That trio has been tough to stop nationally.
Virginia's first round matchup, Long Island University. They're making it into the field of 29 for the second straight year.
Yeah, back-to-back championships. They upset Stonehill in the title game. Ava Taylor was the MVP with 6 points on the day. Love seeing the celebrations and the sign.
We keep it rolling with our first round matchups, and it's the American champs, James Madison.
The first American title for the James Madison Dukes in program history. Maddie Epke has been the leader for this team all year long. The junior attacker who had 6 goals, 10 draw controls in that championship game. She was the MVP of the tournament, and she also leads the nation in draw controls a game, averaging over 12 and a half draws. So she wins a ton of possessions for this team.
These watch parties have been outstanding this year. So much fun to watch. James Madison's first round matchup out of the ACC, the Duke Blue Devils.
Duke, happy to hear their name being called. They had a loss at Clemson in the ACCs. The good news is for the ACC teams, they've had a week of rest to adjust. Callie Hamden leading the way for them. Brad Student, Carly Bernstein, Ava Conti leading the team in assists.
Another ACC team competing in the conference for the first time this season. the Stanford Cardinal. And Sheehan, you alluded to it. A little surprised we didn't see them at number 8 making it to the ACC semifinal.
And they had their first year in the conference, like you mentioned, Jay. They had a strong in-conference schedule, maybe a little bit surprising based on the wins that they had this season to not have a number next to their name. But they are led by Aaliyah Politsky, the lefty attacker who can sling it from just about anywhere.
So Stanford goes into the field unseeded, and they play Denver, and this is a rematch of a regular season matchup that Denver won.
Yeah, this is a hard first round matchup. Denver beat Villanova, their 5th consecutive Big East title, led by Olivia Ripple, 63 goals, and Lauren Black has 53 goals and 21 assists.
And remember, Denver, a team that made it to the Final Four just 2 years ago. So that is a loaded first round matchup and a rematch of a great regular season meeting. Another conference champion, the Big South champs, Mercer.
Mercer winning their 4th straight Big South title, dominated this title game, winning by 8 versus High Point. Kayla Casey had 12 saves, MVP of that tournament. And you see how much it means for this team to punch their ticket for the 4th year in a row.
Now, where will all these teams be playing? We've shown you Stanford, Denver, Mercer. It'll all be taking place in Gainesville because Florida, the number 4 seed, and the Gators, they keep changing conferences, and the common theme is they keep winning them.
They keep winning, and they won the first ever Big 12 championship. Gianna Monaco led the way this season, 62 goals. Franny Hahn, Big 12 Freshman of the Year. They've got a really strong RPI of 5 and a win over Johns Hopkins this season.
All right, so 15 down, 14 to go, about halfway through our reveal, and I'm curious, biggest takeaways so far?
I think when you look at Florida, some might be not wondering why they got the 4 seed there, but they only have 2 losses, and that RPI of 5 is really strong, and they have been a tough team in that Final Four last year.
And you mentioned Stanford not being seeded, not having a home game. When we talked to the committee, they mentioned it was those 2 losses out of conference to Army and Denver that really did that.
All right, so we're halfway through here, our women's reveal, with the men's reveal coming up about 15 minutes from now. 15 teams have been revealed, 14 to go, and we're still waiting to hear Boston College, the reigning champs, the Eagles, waiting for their names to be called, and the Big Ten champs, Northwestern. Halfway through our bracket reveal, the watch parties have been the best they have ever been. So if your name has not been called yet, you know you got to raise your game. The celebrations have stolen the show so far. And let's keep rolling with our reveal. The number 3 seed, the Big Ten champions, Northwestern, earning that first round bye.
Northwestern gutted it out in that Big Ten championship, defeating Maryland. They've got Madison Taylor, who leads the nation in points, the lethal lefty, who has delivered in the really big moments for the Wildcats. They have Riley Campbell, who joins her on the left side of the field. Nikki Miles, the grad transfer, who balances out this attack. They have weapons at the midfield in Emerson Bolig and Sam Smith, who also contribute at the draw control circle. And they have a swarming defense led by Jane Hansen, who was the MVP of the Big Ten tournament.
And it could be a potential second-round matchup of Big Ten foes. Michigan, the Wolverines, drawing in that Northwestern pod.
Yep, Michigan, big wins this season over Penn and Johns Hopkins. Jill Smith has been leading the way with 54 goals, a huge factor on the draw control, 13.28 goals per game, and defense has been strong. Kaylee Dyer also been a huge star for Michigan this season.
This is where geography certainly plays a part to where the committee places these teams, and that continues with the MAC champions, Akron, zipping their way into the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history.
The Akron Zips win their first ever MAC title. They came from behind to defeat Robert Morris by 1 in the title game. Jalen Clinkscale had the game winner and a game-high 4 goals. Program history for the Zips.
At Charlotte, at the beginning of the show, you mentioned the Ivy League, the strong season they had. Penn earning a spot into the field.
Yeah, and they have been led by Anna Brandt, one of the top midfielders in the game. Leads the team in goals, ground balls, calls, turnovers, huge impact all over the field. Great to have a Penn in the Ivy League and representing.
At Penn's first round matchup, will be Army. Oh, that'll be a great game in the first round.
What a moment for that program to hear their name called. Thrilled to be in the third year in a row for head coach Michelle Fumero. And what a reaction.
Oh, that's
Army
awesome.
Knights. They have one of the best midfielders in the country, the two-sport athlete, Bridget Duffy.
They came prepared. I mean, props, you guys may win.
We need a couple of wigs. Keep it moving here in the first round. And it is another MAC champion. This one, 2 A's, not one. The Fairfield Sags, who have been a perennial power in that conference.
Yeah, Fairfield, a big win over Iona to win the AQ. They have bust their way back from Mount St. Mary's. Now we get to see them joining and hearing their names called. Last year, they were an at-large bid. This year, they get the AQ. Amanda Kozak, Conference Player of the Year, leads them.
That bus ride feels a lot better after a big conference win. Fairfield taking on the number 6 seed. And that is Maryland, the Terps earning the 6th seed.
So close to winning that Big Ten title, losing by 1. But they have progressed as the season has gone on. You see midfielder Corey Edmondson winning Big Ten Midfielder of the Year. True two-way, who does a little bit of everything for this team. But it's the defense that has been so hard to crack with goalkeeper JJ Suriano. Putting the team on her back at times, had 31 saves in the semi and championship game of the Big Ten tournament combined.
And that was a Big Ten heavy region. We go to our final region. This is the 2-7 region and the 7 seed Ivy League champs Erica Bamford and the Yale Bulldogs.
Yale back-to-back Ivy League champs in a rain-soaked game in this Ivy League championship. They did a fantastic job. Number 4 scoring defense in the nation. Jenna Calignan, 5 goals, 8 draw controls. Sky Carasquillo, 6 goals. Big-time win over Princeton.
A senior class that has elevated that program to new heights. Yale taking on UAlbany in the first-round matchup.
The 4th America East title for this program, punching their ticket with the automatic qualifier. Grace McCauley had 8 goals in the championship game. That is an America East tournament record. Defeated number 1 Bryant today, avenging their regular season loss to them.
The other first-round matchup, which will be played in New Haven, the Syracuse Orange.
Syracuse has the hardest schedule in the country. Number 1 strength is schedule. 3 losses to end their season, but the new season of the tournament starts now. They've got a lot of great youth talent. Emma Munchik, Caroline Trinkett, and the veteran leader, Emma Ward. So great to hear them call their name after a very strong season.
And Syracuse taking on in that first-round matchup another Ivy League opponent, Brown. And that makes 4 Ivy League teams making it into the field.
All 4 of the teams that made the Ivy League tournament speaks to what that conference has done. But the second year of Katrina Dowd's tenure for Brown, it's their first year making the Ivy League tournament. They had a big regular season win over Yale. Annie Burton leads the team in points, and they have one of the best step-down shooters in Leah Caputo.
Brown was one of those teams on the bubble. Great reaction for the Bears. All right, final 3 teams that are going to be in the field. We start with Loyola Maryland, lost the Patriot League championship game, but Jen Adams' team finds themselves in the field.
Yeah, they are a tough team that you're going to have to face in this NCAA tournament. Overtime loss to Navy, which may give them a little chip on their shoulder, led by Chase Boyle. Georgie Latch has had a phenomenal year. She's number 2 in the nation in points, so putting up some big-time numbers.
And Loyola taking on Stony Brook, a tradition unlike any other. Joe Spallina's team getting another tough draw on the NCAA tournament.
Well, 3 years in the CAA for the Stony Brook Seawolves, 3 straight CAA conference titles. They moved over in 2023 from the America East. Casey Colbert, first in the CAA in assists with 52. This is an offense that plays with so much chemistry, 4th nationally in assists per game. And they went undefeated in their conference this season as well.
The winner of Loyola Stony Brook will take on the 2 seed. And our final team, Boston College, the reigning national champions.
And 2 losses to their name this year, both to North Carolina, but they are so strong end-to-end. Rachel Clark, Emma Lapinto, McKenna Davis, and in-case Shea Dolce, filled with a lot of stars, a lot of depth out there. You know they're going to be wanting to get that national championship back.
They've displayed unbelievable chemistry on the offensive end, but it all starts with their goalkeeper, ACC Goalie of the Year, Shea Dolce has been so steady all season long, but these three, Emma Lapinto, Rachel Clark, and McKenna Davis, complementing each other and giving opposing defenses nightmares.
Boston College, this is an incredible stretch. 7 consecutive years where they have found themselves playing for a national championship. They've won 2 of them. And remember, it's at Gillette Stadium. So that is a home game for BC if they can make it to an 8th straight championship appearance and join Northwestern and Maryland. So our bracket is set. The 29 teams have heard their name. We'll break it all down as the road to Gillette Stadium and championship weekend marches on. So everybody can take a deep breath. The bracket is set. 29 teams with the dream of winning a national championship at Gillette Stadium Memorial Day weekend. Well, thanks for bearing with us. Deep breath, everybody. The bracket is set. Now the fun begins. The lacrosse about to start as May Madness is underway. Charlotte North, Sheehan, Stanwick Birch, Jay Alter with you. I'm curious your thoughts, your takeaway as we digest the 29 teams making it into the field.
I think we knew how competitive it was going to be, but my eyes are on the second round. Potential matchups. If everything holds and the teams we expect to move on from first to second round do continue their seasons, you've got potential second round matchups that in the regular season were close, competitive battles, and you're going to see a lot of heavyweight fights. I've got my eyes on Maryland and Penn potentially seeing each other again. This was a game that went down to the final seconds of the regular season. Keeley Block for Penn had the game winner, and then Yale and Cuse. You're thinking Syracuse goes back to New Haven potentially to avenge that loss.
Those are some heavyweight matchups in the second round. Typically, it's been all chalk in this tournament, Sheehan, but who do you think has the toughest path when you look at a top 4 seed that could potentially be upset on their way to Gillette?
Well, first of all, I think we need to remember how crazy this season actually has been. Every week when we were looking at the polls and the upset losses, so anything can happen, and there's a lot of talented teams that have heard their names called tonight. Congratulations to all of you. But when you look at the path and when you see those second round matchups, I look at Northwestern at the number 3 seed, and for them to potentially, if things hold out, they could meet up with 2 conference foes in Michigan and Maryland, and that's really tough to do against a conference team that knows you so well, play in and out. The regular season meeting of Northwestern and Michigan was not necessarily that close, but Northwestern Maryland in the Big Ten tournament was a 1-goal game. Maryland had the lead for much of the game. Northwestern battled back. J.J. Soriano for Maryland was absolutely phenomenal. 17 saves in that game. But that's a hard game to have to do against 2 conference opponents if that holds.
It's always tough when you have to face a conference opponent again in the NCAA tournament. The ACC getting 7 teams in, the Big Ten and the Ivy League with 4 teams apiece, and the Patriot League getting 3 teams in for the first time in league history. Here's your television schedule. The first round starts May 9th. All games on ESPN Plus for the first and second round. All games on ESPNU for the quarterfinals. That is a Thursday, May 15th. And then championship weekend at Gillette Stadium where we crown a champion. Who will it be? One of these 29 teams will hold that trophy. Some awesome watch parties, such a fun night, and it's still going. Championship weekend, Memorial Day weekend at Gillette for both the women and the men. The men's reveal with Potter, Kark, and Quinn starts now.